So, namaste everyone, and happy Mother's Day. First of all, on this very auspicious occasion, I would say, Mother's Day, certain resolutions have to go into place. Analyzing our own lifestyle, seeing where we are faltering, promising our mothers, the great masters as well, that we will make them happy. Both the mothers and the masters, they have great responsibility. And we continue offering our prayers for the sacrifices, love they have showered upon us. And nothing in this world can repay that. Whatsoever we may do, it will always be very little. On this day, I want to remember all the people who lost their lives to COVID, especially. Nowadays, more and more youngsters are really getting infected in a very serious way. On top of that, there's a secondary infection that's popping up in India, mucormycosis, black fungus. And it's very dangerous. Very extremely dangerous. You might survive COVID, but then because of this immuno effect of this COVID, plus the other drugs that we take like steroids, it suppresses our immune system and gives way to this particular black fungus. Very deadly. Without doubt, this is one of the greatest tragedies in human history and a trauma in our collective consciousness that will be that will have a deep impact going into the future. All of us been touched one way or the other by this pandemic. You have friends or relatives who have, I'm sure, directly or indirectly, your relations. All of us know someone or the other succumbing to this pandemic. Many of you have reached out to support COVID care services with time, money, and equipment. With all my heart, I thank you for your generosity and compassion. Today, I want to talk to you about something beyond financial and moral support, something a bit deeper. As I have already discussed, the pandemic has a deep impact on individual level, as well as the collective consciousness of humanity at large. How do we equip people to deal with the suffering in the short term and in long term? You all know the answer. It is through the gift of meditation. Children who are not able to attend schools, this is a great opportunity for all the functionaries to get going and introduce them to brighter mind programs. Even if you have to introduce them for free, I wouldn't mind. As all of you know, in the last 5 years, Heartfulness has made a significant strides in reaching out to people across the globe through varieties of outreach programs. Well, we have definitely increased in awareness of meditation. Adaptation is lacking. We are lagging behind with this aspect of what is post introduction. COVID has now created a sense of urgency for increasing this adoption of meditation in order to bring relief to suffering humanity. How do we achieve quantum growth in increasing this adoption? How do we help people to make heartfulness meditation as a way of life? As all of you have experienced, heartfulness offers a simple, easy to practice, heart-based meditation aided with pranayama and a set of supporting tools that we have developed. It is supported by masters with their generosity, and that enables quantum transformation. More sincere we become, more authentic we become with our approach to our own life, the greater the transformation will be. We have to constantly be analyzing ourselves, trying to find what is lacking in us, what is so defective. And once we highlight that this is my problem, then help is not too far. Some level of sensitivity is definitely required. It's okay to say a child, when child says, "Oh, I can't do this," Papa or mother would say, "Oh, it's all right, baby. You don't have to worry." But I would not go on pampering and say, "Oh, it's all right not to be sensitive." No. Hook or crook, try. And only way we can succeed in developing this sensitivity is, number one, is to increase the level of tolerance in ourselves. Greater the tolerance, greater will be sensitivity. Interest in our own selves. A lot of enthusiasm has to go into ourselves, with our practice especially, interpersonal relationship, affectionate relationship with all concerned. The hierarchy of masters, though through multiple messages from the brighter world have confirmed that this system will be a trailblazer and will lead humanity to its expected level of consciousness. I have said this with many of you, even in 1984, while we were visiting Vancouver. And Chariji then asked me to give a talk, which I happily agreed to, though I didn't know what to say. I did share though, and Brother Stu might have a record of it. Few things as I shared, and two, three things that stands out today is one of them was, Babuji very specifically said, Canada is coming up. He said this without me asking. He just simply blurted, Canada is coming up. And second thing that I have said with lots of you, where Babuji says, I'm changing the genetic pattern of human race. So then when he mentioned this in 81, and I did share this in 1984 during my talk, and as well as on multiple occasions I have shared with many of you. But back of my mind, I was wondering, how is he going to do it? Not that I doubted it, but just curious. How is he going to achieve this impossible task, changing the genetic pattern of human race? But I saw one of the messages from the brighter world that it is when we reach egregore, it is through this egregore there will be shift in consciousness. And when consciousness will be shifted, it will trigger in its trail genetic mutation. So the focus here is on egregore of many like-minded people meditating under the same flow of pranahuti. Of course, there are methods and methods, but specifically, we need to increase this egregore of people meditating with pranahuti, not just meditation. This has to be very clear in our mind. People say all meditations are great. Of course they are great. It's better than nothing. But pranahuti is very special. As part of our overall vision of making heartfulness available to all households, the idea is to establish that egregore so that consciousness shift can happen, and so that's a way of mutation. I have asked a team of functionaries and volunteers to work together and come out with a comprehensive plan with the end goal of making heartfulness a mainstream meditation practice. When I'm addressing you, especially in North America, let's say we give a timeline of 5 years. I think this will be a major undertaking, and we'll have to take an all hands on board approach to this initiative. An interim steering council consisting of members that I'm going to read out to you are currently in process of creating teams in their respective functional areas to help in preparing and supporting this initiative. There are individuals who are constantly in touch with me from United States, especially Brother Santosh Kanji, James Joseph, Brother Sanjay Kannan, Madhava Garu, and many Abhyasis. Of course, Taran Keni too, if I have not mentioned his name. They're in regular touch with me. But nothing is evolving. We have this program, that program. Of course, they are great. What else can we do? What are we missing out here? I'm requesting all our membership at large in the United States. Please share your ideas. If you have ideas, don't let it go waste. You can always write to us. Okay. So we have to specify these functions. I would request Brother Madhava Reddy to get going with strategic partnership and donor management all through US. Needless to say, he is one of the largest contributor in our mission today. And we all owe him a lot. Krishna Linga, membership development and operations. They will all have to create their own team, how to go forward. Brother Naran Kini, management of brand, how our branding going on, and volunteer enablement. Brother Victor Kannan, development and delivery of Connect programs. Brother Ravi Venkatesan, digital assets and product development. Brother Sanjay Sagal, outreach, PR, and publications. Mark Patel, agency relationship management. James Joseph, engagement management. I'll be conveying all these messages mainly through two persons, or maybe three. One of them will be James, Sanjay Bhai, and Santosh Bhai. This interim steering council will help tremendously to set up the structure for the transformation that will then provide leadership for this initiative. They will collaborate with global teams as required. Brother Santosh has been leading all these global teams worldwide. The current members of this steering council will dissolve into a new structure at an appropriate time. The current plan is to create at least 20 to 25 teams initially, each team having 200 to 250 members in all. Membership can overlap. If you have 20 teams and you're expecting 200 members in all, and you need to have at least 4,000, I don't think we have such membership like that. So we'll have to work with overlap. This is in a nutshell an indicator of the scale of effort that will be required for this transformation. Needless to say, this cannot happen without the active participation from all of you, all members. I will especially encourage our youth volunteers to come forward and join in various teams based on your skills and areas of interest. We may take help from external agencies if required to develop and execute a new approach. We want to kickstart this initiative as early as possible. However, we will need to put all the teams in place by the end of this month, May 2021. In the next few days, you will receive communication with more details about the various teams and whom to contact for being a volunteer. Once again, I encourage all of you to come forward and support this initiative to make heartfulness a mainstream meditation practice. This can happen only if we learn to work as a team in harmony and spirit of collaboration. I am done with my ideas, requests, suggestions are most welcome. Whatever comes to your heart, you feel like sharing your thoughts, be very happy to receive them. If you don't like to share it now, you can share it later. Often people misunderstand when I say Anonymity is very important. But as a functionary, you just cannot shy away and say, I like to remain anonymous with Master and I will not communicate. No, I cannot work like that. There has to be back and forth interactions if we want to take it forward. Don't expect that I know everything. No, I don't know everything. People say Master knows everything, and that spoils everything. Master can know everything but does not know everything at any given moment. It's a waste of time. So let us at a human level interact. How do we interact in a corporate world? You don't say my CEO or my boss or my head of the department knows everything. What will happen to that corporates? Imagine things like that happening in our mission. Where will the mission go? So please know this. Etch it on your heart. Master does not know everything. And share. I'm saying to all functionaries, it is important to know what your plans are, what your troubles are, what is working, what is not working, so that I can share those ideas, your problems, your success with other country heads, with other country functionaries. There has to be interaction. Otherwise, we'll remain status quo. Very peaceful organization. We don't want that. Yes, Kannan?
The email IDs and their suggestions.
Oh, until new ID comes up, you can always write to me kamlesh at srcm.org.
I think for North America, Raji, once we set up an email ID, we will send it to people.
Yeah, we should ask. Brother James Joseph will be ideal person to manage all those things. So for North America, I think I would request James to receive those mails, answer them wherever possible. Whenever you are in doubt, you can always share with others. And still, if you cannot manage, you can finally write to me. Okay. So why not decide it now itself? You can send these mails to James, all the suggestions, etc.
I think, thank you, Raji, for sharing your very, very important message to all of us. We all try to come together and try to work hard to make this happen. We immediately start sending out communications to everybody as to how we can interact and share their ideas and thoughts and areas of interest, so we can start forming the teams and get everything ready by the 31st of May.
See, often youngsters and especially a lot of American Abhyasis, our sisters and brothers, they shy away. They're talented, but they feel so humble, and out of that humility, they don't want to say, I can also participate in this, or I can also participate in that. So somehow they have to come out of that cocoon. Or if Kamanan Bhai knows someone, or if Bill Wacott knows someone, or John Barlow knows someone, or Anne Marie knows someone, they can recommend that such and such a person can perform such and such a task as a volunteer. So you can And then once such recommendation comes, you can go on forming these teams. Our zonal coordinators, I am sure they would know a lot of people. So since we have formed various teams, identify the teams that we need to have, and then based on this team role or the function, we can invite the volunteers.
Raji, you gave 5-year time horizon. That's a very good idea to make sure that we learn from all the past and then put together, as we said, a comprehensive plan to go forward effectively.
Yeah. Because something that we may introduce now, let us see, and later on after a few months we say, oh, it's not working out. You can always change it. See, we should not be head bent on something that, oh, I introduced this and it has to be done that way. No, we need to quickly find out where we are going wrong and implement the changes. Okay, then let's digest all this, take it to the heart, and come up with great plans going ahead. If I get a message, I think find the message from 2001 or something, where Babuji says, in next 2 or 3 decades or next 25 years or so, drastic change will happen. So this is the time. I think the transitioning period is around 2025, 2026, something like that. And based on that, our plan also will work to smoothly get into the new phase of our lifestyle. And when I say this, please don't take it for granted that this is something written on stone. No. Things change. So, thank you all and wonderful Mother's Day.